so it's not like the most summer-friendly garment to wear. It doesn't have like fixed stripes, pink shade of linen yarn. Hello everyone, my name is Maria and this is Knitting as Therapy, a knitting podcast, episode number 11, I guess. There was a long time since I last filmed the podcast, so I decided that taking into consideration lots of finished objects, works in progress, and some acquisitions and plans that I have, is the right time now to film a new episode. So jump right into the finished objects that I have for today. The one that I am wearing is also one of my latest finished objects. That's Poppy Tea by PetiteKnit. I made it as a part of a knit-along with one of our Ukrainian yarn stores. So this one was made using bobbin yarn, so it's like Italian yarn that is sold on the cones. So you just don't have lots of ends to hide after finishing it. That's the main thing that I liked in these bobbin yarns. My version of Poppy Tea was made for my boyfriend, so the size is medium, and I like how like boxy it turned out and how relaxed fit it has in result. It's a bit hard to film it and to make photos with this tea because of the shade. It's very dark, like dark navy color, makes it a bit hard to film all of the details. But overall, you can see that the fit is like more or less fine. For me, it's oversized, but in general, the idea of this t-shirt is to be like as a boxy fit t-shirt. In the description to the pattern itself, it expects to have like 5 centimeters of positive ease. In my case, I like it to be a little bit more oversized. That's why I decided to make the bigger size. For the medium size, I used up 300 grams, like almost 300 grams of yarn. It was 70% cotton, 30% cashmere yarn. So it's not like the most summer-friendly garment to wear. But overall, it's fine. It's just for some cooler days during summer, I think it should be a good garment to wear. I made mine on 3.5 millimeter needles, also using 2.75 and 2.5 millimeter needles for the hem, for the sleeves, and for the collar. So the smallest needles I used for the collar. Not sure if you can see, I will add some additional photos as well, that I changed the ribbon that was proposed in the pattern on all of these parts. I changed it into stockinette, so it's double folded stockinette, collar, sleeves, and the hem as well. I just switched to smaller needles when I decided that it's time to make the hem. I also add a marker on the front side of the knitting to mark like where I started or I expected to start, for example, the hem. And then I made like 3 centimeters for the hem of the stockinette, then 1 row of the purl stitches, and then also the same amount of stockinette again, so to have like double folded result. But I made on the wrong side the stockinette like 1 row less comparing to the front side, and then I knit them together like similar as we are doing for the brim of the hat, for example. So yeah, it's a bit hard to keep track, to make it aligned well, especially taking into consideration the amount of stitches that you are working on. And the dark color is in my case also adds some complexity to do it, but I'm happy with the result and I like it more comparing to the ribbon. Before I already made Poppy Tea but with a bit chunkier yarn, so the ribbon worked fine there, but in that case I just made one layer of the ribbon for collar sleeves and the hem. In that case, the main reason was that I just didn't have enough yarn to make the length I wanted, so I just decided to shorten the yarn needed for all of these parts. Yeah, so this is it for this one. Also, I spent some time yesterday trying to film all of the finished garments that I have for today's video. I think we will switch into that part of like a vlog filming of my trip to make some additional photos and videos to show how these garments look with like daylight or proper sunlight, not only to make it like with a home lighting that you can see now. Hope you liked the vlog part of my video, and we are moving into the next finished garment that you have already seen in the video from yesterday. That's Nature Lace Sweater, designed by Knitting for Olive. So it's like also part of the cover of their book. I made this one using hand-dyed yarn. It was some Turkish brand, not sure about the name of it. I bought it like a stock yarn on a sale, and decided to use it up for this sweater to try some lacing, because I didn't do lots of lacing on my sweaters in general. Yeah, so mine, as you have already seen, is made in such like golden olive brown color with lots of lacing. Here is some sunlight helping me to show you the shade, I guess. So on the sunlight, it's like it has such a golden shade. I already mentioned in the previous episode that I wasn't sure about the collar. As you can see, I made mine quite similar but a bit shorter. I have tried different options. I considered all of them, checked some Ravelry projects as well that people did. There was a version with a double folded collar, but it was a bit chunkier than I would like it to be. Also, it was logical for me to have like 2x2 ribbon on the hem, on the sleeves as well. So it leads to having 2x2 ribbed collar as well. So I hope you can see how drapey and with lots of holes. It's very breezy sweater. I was a bit worried about how much it will grow after blocking, taking into consideration the lacing and also taking into consideration that it's a superwash merino wool yarn. But it turned out well. It didn't grow a lot, well, a little bit, but not extremely. So I considered growing, like expected growth to be like up to 10%, and that's the result that I received after wet blocking. Yeah, so I made this one on 5mm needles, 4.5 for all the ribbons. Spent like a bit over 600 grams for the size 1 of this sweater. I was a bit tired during knitting it because it's lots of lacing, lots of charts to keep track of, and as soon as I finished the body, I had like a long pause during several weeks before I got to the sleeves. So while making the first sleeve, it turned out well, but I didn't really realize that that's very important to keep track of all the stitches, where they are placed, what's the amount of them, because the pattern itself is not telling you, for example, like pick up 2 stitches out of every 3 rows. So you need to figure out it yourself and get how many stitches and where to pick up. That's a hard part for me, and because of this lacing, because of this sleeves, like leaves pattern on the sleeves, it's very important to take into consideration how it will look in result. So the second sleeve took me 5 tries to figure out how to pick up stitches to make it work for and to look similar to the another sleeve that was already completed. And yeah, it was a bit tiring, but overall I'm glad that it's finished now. It's now waiting for some autumn or some colder days to come, so I will be able to wear it. Very interesting shade, and in general very interesting lacing on the sweater. I'm now discussing some vacation plans with my friend, and Copenhagen is part of this plan, at least for now. So maybe I will just get this sweater with me while visiting Knitting for Olive store in Copenhagen this year. We will see. The next finished object that I have to share is Sunday socks. Here is one, a bit wider shape. It's 2x2 ribbed socks made top down. It's 2x2 ribbed socks made top down. It's designed by PetiteKnit. I have already made one socks out of this yarn. That's Aliza Wool Time. And I like the shades of this yarn. That's why I wanted to make one more pair. That's a gift knit for one of my co-workers that will come visit me soon this summer. So I proposed her to select something small that I can knit for her, and she selected socks, so I made this for her. That's a worsted weight yarn, so I made this on 4mm needles, like everywhere on stockinette, and then the ribbon, that's the same, slip stitch heel, and some decreases on the toe. Nothing extremely hard, just some quick project that will provide you a quick result. Yeah, I made them just a little bit shorter comparing to the pattern. It is said to make like a bit longer, like 5 centimeters longer ribbon before starting the heel, and I decided, I was a bit nervous about the amount of yarn, if I will have enough of it or not. In the pattern it is said for like bigger sizes that I was making to have 150 grams of yarn. I was not really, I didn't want like to buy one more skein of yarn just to have like several more centimeters on the leg part that I can easily skip. That's the main reason why I don't like top-down socks. I like to make them toe up because I have more control over the amount of yarn that I will have in result after finishing at least one sock. And that is it for the Sunday socks. One more finished garment for today. It's Fennel Seed Jacket by Florence Miller. This one is made with Lanagator super soft merino wool yarn. It's closer to worsted weight, and one strand of knitting for olive super soft silk mohair. This one is homemade on 5mm needles in fisherman's rib. Smaller needles like 4.5 for these for the cuffs, collar, and the hem. For the double knitted blankets, I think I used 4mm needles. And the main part that paused this project from being finished, it's the buttons. I hope you can see that they fit the cardigan shade extremely well. I even was selecting between like lighter shade or darker shade depending what I wanted to get in result. For this one I was making the size second size of this cardigan, and because of this raglan shaping I was not sure if I like the fit of it. I have scoliosis, so my back is not extremely symmetrical, so it makes it hard to wear such fitted clothing, and this raglan was a bit emphasizing these asymmetrical parts of my body, but when I blocked it I aggressively stretched it to make it wider to get some more oversized fit in result, and that's what I got. Generally now I'm happy with the result, but my suggestion is if you are going to make this cardigan yourself, just select a bigger size to have some more oversized fit to look it more relaxed. The length of the cardigan I think is quite similar to the pattern. Sleeves are of course longer. That's why I needed a bit more yarn comparing to the suggested amount in the pattern. Yeah, and I think this is it. I'm glad that it's finally finished. Looking forward to be able to wear it as well. And we are moving into some works in progress that I have to share for today, for the finished objects that's already done. And I have one like transitional piece to share because, as always, for the socks, I have one sock finished. That's Soda Water Socks by Yuka, made with Silver Ball Crazy yarn. So it doesn't have like fixed stripes, but it has such shades changing design that I like a lot, especially with this purple, pink, and a little bit creamy white. They look amazing together. Also, this lacing adds such a nice detail. It's extremely easy to follow, easy to keep track of. So I made this one like in a few days, and I am currently working on the second one. It doesn't look so nice as the previous one because it's not blocked yet, but it's done toe up. That's also the thing that I like. I have already completed the heel flap and I'm currently working on the leg. So a few more rows to go and this one will be finished as well. You can also compare the shades, so they change a bit, but they are not like extremely different. I was trying to figure out how to make the socks matching, but it's a bit hard to do because there is no repeat in the whole skein of yarn. I think the second sock will finish on this Barbie pink, and that's also the part I like a lot, because you cannot even know what's like the next part of the sock will be. But all of the shades are great. I'm not sure if you noticed, I also even have this unicorn marker that fits the design itself. Moving on to the next work in progress, that's my Malou dress designed by Sandnes Garn. I'm making it using Sowa Pima yarn, so that's baby alpaca merino blend blown yarn on the cotton board, I guess. I'm making it with in such a gray shade. Well, there were not a lot of options in the yarn store, so I just selected the shade that had enough amount of it. So that's where I currently am. On the back, then I joined the front panels, and currently it's already in the round, so I have to make like a blouse part for this to the waist length, I guess, and then I will start the skirt itself. Also, here will be some sleeves, it's a bit later, and the I-cord. Let's see. So the I-cord will have it fixed like this with a little bow. So I have plenty of time to finish it for the next colder season. It's very light to bring with me when I'm going somewhere out, and I have enough yarn for this. I have like 2,000 meters to make it work to the length I will like. This one is made on 4mm needles, mostly in stockinette, as you can see, not a lot of techniques. And generally that's it for the Malou dress that I can say today. The next one I have also started recently. That's Novice Cardigan Chunky Edition. I have already made one for myself, and I have like almost the same amount of yarn left. I brought it from vacation last year, and in one skein of yarn, it's concept by Katya, Alpaca Natural Colors yarn, was some limited edition that I found in the store, and I used up only half amount of skeins that I bought there. It's surprisingly, because the skein of yarn has only 90 meters in 50 grams, so I should use up all of this, but because it's very fluffy natural yarn, I just finished with half of it. That's why I decided to make one more for my mom, most likely, or maybe I will give her mine and leave this one for me, because currently I'm making it in the smallest size. The body is done. Currently I am working on the sleeves, and the front panels are needed, and some buttons, of course. It's also quite easy knit because it's done mainly in stockinette on 7mm needles, and all the increases are done in the round. If you select fluffy enough yarn, it will not even be noticeable that there are some increases. So yeah, quite a soft, quick knit that I decided to finish. Why I'm doing it in the middle of the summer? Because it's already very hot here in Ukraine. Just because it's very easy to bring with you in some late colder summer days even. It's very light. The general weight of the cardigan is up to 300 grams, and it doesn't take lots of space in your bag if you want to bring it with you. So I decided that it's the right time to finally finish it and to use up all of the leftover yarn that I have from the previous version of Novice Cardigan Chunky Edition. And the last thing that I have in progress, there is not a lot of progress at all. It's also like a transitional part to the acquisitions that I have. That's a linen yarn. Give me a second. That's a cone of linen yarn that I bought for the first linen dress that I want to make for myself this year in such a beautiful pink. It's very marshmallowish. Yeah, it's 100% linen. It's 433 meters per 100 grams, but it looks very thin comparing to the wool that we used to see in the wool skins of yarn. So I'm experimenting so far. That's the whole progress that I have. Only a few centimeters, like not more than 2 of them, that I've just finished. I have to, you can see I have a cord here and working on the top. The idea is to make it like from the waist up with wider straps, to not make it grow a lot if it will have thinner straps that will be like growing after each wear. This is 3mm needles. I know that it looks a bit transparent so far, but I expect it to grow and to strengthen itself into a bit like different shape in the final garment. I don't know if it makes any sense what I'm explaining, but that's the idea. And also I'm not ready to make the whole dress on 2.5mm needles because I want it to be like over my knees length. So that will take some time to make on 2.5mm needles, but on 3 it's more or less fine for me now. So the idea is to work it bottom up from the waist and then get to the skirt itself, so I will be able to try it on and define the length I want to get in result for this dress. So I'm looking for some top that I can convert into dress with wide straps. That's it for the works in progress so far, and we are moving into some acquisitions and plans, except this linen dress that I have already shown you. So getting into some plans and acquisitions so far, I like knitting socks in general during summer because it's quite a quick knit and easy to bring with you, but also because in winter I will have lots of them being ready for usage. So I bought some nice amount of the sock yarn. Of course, I bought one more skein of this like kinda artichoke shade of Alize wool time yarn. That's color 274. That's a regular wool-based superwash yarn in a worsted weight that I'm going to use for one more Sunday socks or something different. But in general, I like the color, so that's why I want to make something else with this shade. And in addition to this, I also bought, that's a base of white yarn for hand dyers. That's merino wool sock yarn, so it's merino nylon blend yarn with 200 meters per 100 grams. It doesn't have the production name because I bought it in a yarn store, so probably that's their branding, should be here at least. So it's also quite chunky yarn that I can pair with this one to make some accents in the socks in general, or make just a single pair of beautiful white socks in a chunkier version. We will see how it's gonna turn out, but I think it will look great together. Also, I have one more beautiful skein of yarn. It's very vibrant on the screen. It's something in the middle between contrast yellow and contrast green color. It's superwash wool yarn, fingering weight, 75 superwash wool, 25 polyamide, that I'm also going to use for some lace socks, or maybe just a simple vanilla socks, because the color itself is already saying a lot about the socks. So I'm not sure if I should spoil the socks with some additional lacing or cabling or something else. But to pair with this one, I also have some white base. That's Aliza Superwash Artisan yarn in shade 1. 75% wool, 25% polyamide. That is working great together because that's the same weight. So the idea is quite similar, to have it as an accent or to make a single socks with this one. And the final one for the plan is Papi Fabio Rubino yarn. It's 70% merino wool, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere yarn. I have few more cones like this to mix them together and to make it work with several strands, because in this case it's a bit thinner than I need. It has such a light blue, like an aqua shade. I think you can see it like this pretty well, like a light blue color. And I'm going to transform this into poppy tea because our knit along is still going. Some people are selecting more yarn to make long sleeves poppy tea, or one more poppy tea. That's why I decided to make mine one more as well. Probably it's gonna be in medium size, and I have no rush with this one, but I just want to join the knit along communications more and finish my poppy tea one more time and have some result of it. Because previously I was making these poppy teas only for my boyfriend before. I made one for myself, but it was too small for my taste and I didn't have enough yarn to make it longer, so just a bit of a failure on that side. That's why I'm now ready to make a proper one for myself. Yeah, so that was it for today. Lots of news, lots of plans, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this vlog part. Let me know, I will add some more in the future if you are enjoying it as well. So thank you for watching and have a nice knitting. Bye bye.